A movie review for Nosferatu. I just saw this in the theater, and I did like the movie. Has some problems, but it's an entertaining movie. It's beautifully shot. It's probably my favorite thing about it is the look. It's made for $50 million. It's made about 30 million. And it's directed by Robert Eggers, who I just reviewed The Witch. I haven't seen The Lighthouse or The Northman. I'm meaning to watch The Northman. The Lighthouse looks very strange, but so he made a Dracula movie, and it is Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's even on this one of the scripts. You know, his name's on the script, Bram Stoker. A gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and the terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake. If you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. It really helps the channel. And onto the review. So it's got a great cast. Lily Rose Depp, who I assume is the daughter of Johnny Depp. Nicholas Hoult, Bill Skarsgård, Aaron Taylor Johnson, William Dafoe, Simon McBurney, who I think was in The Manchurian Candidate with Denzel, who's always a good actor. He always kind of plays a weird, quirky, kind of creepy guy, but he does it well. And again, he's doing that in this. And, you know, basically Nicholas Hoult is the Keanu Reeves character. And he is a real estate agent. He's just newly married. So, you know, he needs money. And he's sent by Simon McBurney off to Orlok, Count Orlok, who is Dracula. I don't think they ever say Dracula, but they do say Nosferatu. Was sent off to Transylvania to sell him a house that's in Germany, and most of this movie takes place in Germany. But unbeknownst to him, Simon McBurney is secretly working for Count Orlok. This is shown pretty early on in the movie, and this is all a plan to basically steal Lily Rose Depp, because she's all tied into this too. And I'm not sure if he wanted to turn Nicholas Hoult into a vampire. Some things like that are a little unclear. I do find it funny that Nicholas Hoult was in Redfield, where he played the familiar to Dracula. And in this, he kind of becomes that, but then he escapes because he's trapped in the castle of I'm just gonna say Dracula, Nosferatu, and that's probably one of the best parts of the movie because he's really good. I like the back and forth between him and Bill Skarsgård, who's unrecognizable, who's disgusting too. Like when you finally see him when he's in his grave, he's like all rotting, and it's different than the classic take on Dracula, where he's this like kind of suave, ladies' man kind of. But so that was different. A friend of mine was saying how some of this reminded him of if you've ever played World of Darkness, the pencil paper game, Vampire the Masquerade. I'd agree with that. I wonder if Robert Edgar's ever played that, because some of this reminds me of that. Because in that, there's like different houses of vampires, and there's like the suave ones, good looking, kind of like Twilight ones, and then there's ones that are kind of like disgusting and like have parts of their bodies rotting, almost like a zombie in some ways. And that's what Nosferatu is. And I think in the game they may be called the Nosferatu clan. So, now I've never seen the original Nosferatu. I've seen the one, isn't it William Dafoe playing Nosferatu? And it's like the filming of that movie, but I forget what it was. It's like that he's like almost like a real vampire that they're filming. I think that was him in it. Man, it's just William Dafoe's been in so many movies. But yeah, in this, he goes to the castle. Instantly, you can tell Nicholas Hoult, really good actor. I'm excited for the Superman movie. I mean, he looks like Lex Luthor. He's got the bald head. Hopefully the movie's good. But and instantly it kind of goes bad. He wants to leave. Instantly, Nosferatu's like, no, you're ill. You need to stay here till you're strong. And basically, Nosferatu visits him almost like every night and drinks his blood, and kind of harasses him with wolves. It's just a terrible place to live. It's like almost like a ruin of a castle. He breaks into the chamber in the bottom of it, and he's gonna kill him. But Dracula is able to stop him. That's when you see the full body of Dracula. And then he escapes and jumps out the top of the tower into a river below, and barely survives. Now, tied up into all of this, so I'm just going to get into spoilers. I thought the movie was good, not amazing. I have some problems, especially with the end of the movie. But it is beautifully shot. The acting's great. I mean, I think the directing's great. I really have no negatives there. There's a great shot of the city in Germany. I think it was a giant model. And like Dracula's hand is going over the city. I thought that was really probably one of the best shots in the movie. I think William Dafoe's like maybe the best thing in the movie. So you get to spoilers. But if you can, yeah, I think it's worth it to go see in the theater. But there's also this whole thing tied up with Lily Rose Depp. She's throughout her life had like, mental problems, I guess, depression. She has these terrible night terrors and dreams. And you end up finding out that, as far as I understand, what is that, because it's kind of not exactly spelled out, but that when she was younger, she made like a pact with Nosferatu where she would be his bride. And then later, when she fell in love with Nicholas Hoult, she married him. So she broke the pact. And this is the story of Nosferatu getting his bride back, basically. And And part of the contract that Nicholas Hoult signs with Bill Skarsgård, I think, is signing over his wife to him, and then he pays him in gold. It's all very kind of religious in some ways, I'd say, like, you know, Judas or something. And then he leaves Transylvania. He goes on the ship, just like in, you know, Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's killing people on the ship. The ship crashes. There's rats everywhere. They think it's plague. This disease is spreading throughout the city that's, I think, driving people insane. And then he is going to visit Lily Rose Depp. She's staying with Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's really good in this. Who wears a giant top hat. And he's like best friends with Nicholas Hoult. She's staying with him. He's trying to cure her. And is it Emma Corrin is his wife? Yeah, Anna Harding. And they have 2 little girls and another baby on the way. Tragic end, of course, happens to her and the kids. Tragic end happens to Aaron Taylor Johnson, too. A lot of people die in this. You got Simon McBurney going nuts, eating animals like Renfield. I guess he's basically Renfield. His name in this is Knock. That's what it says on IMDb. And he's also great in it, too. And they finally find out that he's secretly working for Nosferatu. And he's basically establishing it himself there so that he can come in and take Lily Rose Depp. Now that kind of gets to the end of the movie. There's also like a Christmas Carol thing going on where he would visit 3 times, 3 nights. And he does this and he visits, he attacks Emma Corrin because she's staying with her. It's like her best friend. He ends up killing her, ends up killing their 2 daughters pretty brutally. When you see the little girl, the little daughters, you're like, oh man, are they going to be killed by Dracula? And they are. And then he kills all them. I don't really understand why. I guess he's just drinking their blood, I guess. And he basically drives Emma Corrin crazy. And then Aaron Taylor Johnson is like a broken man. And he ends up getting killed by Dracula too, I think. See, some things they're not quite explained. And then you also have William Dafoe, who's an ex-professor who was kicked out of Switzerland because he started to have other explanations for, like, psychosis, basically. Like the occult, you know, and he basically says that Nosferatu is a demon. And there's, you know, the way to destroy him is to destroy his coffin, which has the dirt of his homeland there, which is what's in the book. And then Nosferatu visits Lily Rose Depp while they're destroying his coffin in the estate that he bought from Nicholas Hoult, which is on the outskirts of the town, but it's like a ruin. And then basically, like, they have like sex, and he's drinking her blood, and this is the part of the movie I just didn't really like, because, like, he basically gets killed because he stays too long with Lily Rose Depp at night, and then the sun comes up and his coffin is destroyed, but I don't even think he really knows that. So I don't know, I'm kind of just like, well, then how is he destroyed? You know, but then he starts bleeding everywhere, and then he just dies. That was a little anticlimactic. So I didn't really like that part of the movie. I think up until like the last 10 minutes, it's pretty good. It's maybe a little too long, though, I'd say. If I had to compare this to The Witch, it's actually similar, and spoilers for The Witch, but because in The Witch, she's accused of being a witch all these times, and in the end, she becomes a witch. And in this, she's kind of fighting Nosferatu, but in the end, she embraces the darkness, which is like on the poster. And becomes his bride, but she's tricking him so that he stays too long with her, so then he's killed by the sunlight, I guess. So I don't know, I didn't really understand that part of the movie, but like I said, it's beautifully shot. It's the director's definitely got a lot of talent. He seems to only make like period pieces. I mean, The Witch is like, I think like 1680 or something. This is in the 1800s. The Northman, I think, is like, ancient Rome, but it's the barbarian tribes in the north. And The Lighthouse, I think, is what, the late 1800s. So yeah, but that's my main complaint about the movie, is the end. It's a little too long, maybe. And it is just Bram Stoker's Dracula retold in different ways, with kind of a Christmas Carol twist in there, with the visiting every night for 3 nights. I mean, I think that's what they were going for. But there is great makeup on Bill Skarsgård. Probably the best scenes with him are when he's talking to Nicholas Hoult in his castle. And Nicholas Holt's talking to him, and then he gets angry at him because he's not calling him my lord. Thought that was funny. He asks to see the locket, which has some of Lily Rose Depp's hair in it. And then he steals his locket. And Nicholas Holt's like, my lord, you still have my locket. Because he has no idea that she has a past with Nosferatu at all. He just knows, like, when he gets there, this is bad, I gotta get out of here. And pretty good scenes, too, with the gypsies. Right before he goes to the castle. And the gypsies are like, you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't even mention that castle's name. He doesn't really understand. He just thinks they're like backwards people. He doesn't listen to them. But yeah, the ending I think isn't great, but the movie overall I liked. I'd probably say I like it more than The Witch, just because it has a higher budget. I like all the the look of the city, and it all feels very apt for the time. And it's during Christmas, it's very cold. It's got a great feel to it. So, and just great performances. But yeah, the last 10 minutes or so, I don't know. Just thought it was a little anticlimactic, but it is what it is. But anyways, a few more things that I liked in the movie. The period feel. I liked how they were showing kind of the medicine back then, and how they were bleeding her. Which I wonder when they stopped doing that, but yeah, they were doing that for so long. Where they thought there was like bad blood that comes to the surface, so you need to expel the blood, you need to bleed people. Which is probably the last thing you want to do if someone's really sick. I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but like I know a bit about the the medicine back then, and yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. Everything to do with that and Lily Rose Depp, and them trying to cure her. And then, so the exteriors of Orlek's castle were filmed at Hunedoara Castle, also known as Corvin Castle, a Romanian castle located in Transylvania, one of the largest medieval castles extant in Europe. What's more, it's the castle where Vlad Dracula was briefly imprisoned. Is that Vlad the Impaler, who this is based on? According to Bill Skarsgård, his voice was the aspect of the part he worked. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård voice, man, in this. I was like, are they putting this through a computer or something? Because, I mean, it is creepy. Like, I'll give him that. His voice was the aspect of the part I worked hardest at, spending 6 weeks before shooting, not doing much else than just recording myself. And on set, I would keep doing these exercises. It sounds kind of like Mongolian throat singing. The castle scenes were filmed in the Pernstein Castle in the Czech Republic, the same location that was used for Werner Herzog's film Nosferatu the Vampire. Maybe that's the one I've seen. I don't know. Producer Christopher Columbus said, oh, he's a producer, Chris Columbus. Said Bill Skarsgård was so terrifying in costume that he couldn't even approach him on set, that until Skarsgård made everyone laugh, then Columbus knew Nosferatu had a sense of humor. Bill Skarsgård was originally cast as Thomas Hunter, however, during the film's long pre-production development, the director decided to recast Skarsgård as Count Orlok. Instead, in an interview with Skarsgård, Edgar stated that he felt that the recasting was to make the sexual subtext between Orlok and some of his victims even more convincing. Well, yeah, I don't know. He's like a walking corpse. He's like with rotting flesh. So I don't know about that. I guess unless you're into that stuff, I don't know. Yeah, Robert Edgars co-directed a stage production of Nosferatu in high school. The original, my brother was just telling me about this. The original there was a lawsuit about the original one in Germany in 1922. The film was almost lost. Bram Stoker was the creator and author of the novel Dracula. In 1897, his widow took legal action against F.W. Murano, the director of Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, due to the similarities to Dracula. The judge ordered all copies of the 1922 film to be destroyed, but thankfully some survived, or this remake might never have been made. Yeah, then some were like smuggled into the US. Filming started in Prague, Chechnya, in Prague. I don't know. Isn't that just the Czech Republic? In March 2023, at the historic landmark known as Invaldona, and it wrapped in May 29th, 2023. Wow, so like a, 2 to 3 month shooting period? That's pretty quick. Harry Styles and Anya Taylor-Joy originally cast in the lead roles. Styles dropped out due to scheduling conflict, and the project got delayed, which resulted in Taylor-Joy also dropping out later, as she was filming Furiosa Mad Max Saga at the time. Lily Rose Depp took over Taylor-Joy's role. Oh, okay. Well, she was good, but I probably would have rather had Anya Taylor-Joy in the main role. But, Lily Rose Depp was good. She goes through, many different emotions in this movie. You do got to give it to her. She's all over the place. She's wailing on the ground at one point, and she's crying. Then she's in love with Nicholas Hoult, and then there's she's tormented by Dracula, and she even has to make out with Dracula, who's like a giant corpse. This film was released 102 years after the original 1922 film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. Yeah, Nicholas Hoult also starred in another loose adaptation of Dracula, Renfield. Yep. Now, which one's better, this or Renfield? The The thing about Renfield is, I felt it should have been a period piece, like, because I think he says that Nicholas Hoult became his familiar right before World War One, I think it was. So I think that should have been that movie, is that story. Because the thing about Renfield is, like, you know, Dracula's great in it, Nicholas Holt's great in it, but everything else I didn't think was that good. Everything around it, there was this whole side story with these police, and I don't care at all about any of that. I'd say this is better, Nosferatu. Yeah, I'd probably say this is better because it's better shot, I'd say, although that was shot okay, and I just like how this is in the 1800s. So yeah, I'd slightly give this over Renfield, but Renfield was a good movie too. This is the second time Bill Skarsgård portrayed a vampire. The first time was in the Netflix show Hemlock Grove. Wow, this film was first announced in 2015. Almost 10 years later. The film is Robert Eggers' first remake. William Dafoe did a scene with 2,000 live rats. Oh, wow. Is that when he's burning down the coffin? Wow, so a lot of those rats were actual real rats. Wow. I mean, that means Nicholas Hoult was in there too, and the other guy who played the other professor. But this is the third collaboration between Robert Eggers and William Dafoe. The first two are The Lighthouse and The Northman. Oh, he's in The Northman. Okay. I haven't seen that, but I think that's about it. There's definitely some good effects on Skarsgård, on his rotting corpse. I mean, he's basically a rotting corpse. Lily Rose Depp has to have sex with him, and it's pretty disgusting because, like, he's probably got to smell so bad. And I was just thinking that when he's, like, making out with her, I was like, man, his breasts gotta be ripe. But yeah. So yeah, that's about it though. Check it out. Nosferatu, it's in the theaters now, so. But I'll see you next time.